Hey everybody, it's me again, and time for another blog. Let's see, significant events. There's been a few lately. Um, let's start with, I think where I left off the last one, which is a little bit about site assignment. Yeah, I listed off a couple of different possible sites. Valle de la Laguna Masaya, Tolas, Rivas, Ometepe, the island out in the middle of Lake Nicaragua. Had an interview with my boss, and they said that they're really excited about placing me because during practicum week they said I was really, they thought I was I think they said even the word superior TEFL volunteer, so, or trainee, I should say, TEFL trainee. And so that made me happy to hear. It kind of makes me think maybe I'll get I'll be more likely to get my pick of sites, but I don't know if that's really true. I mean, they might decide they want to stick me out there where it's the hardest to do, the hardest work. Or maybe they'll put me on the site that requires me to spend the most amount of time in the school and not with other things, other side projects, things like that. So we'll see how that turns out. But I had my interview with him, and I asked them what sites. I mean, they had asked me for my top 3 sites: Valle de la Laguna Masaya, Ometepe, Rivas, and Tolas, Rivas. All 3 are pretty small town. Valle de la Laguna is something along the lines of 2,500 people. Ometepe is like 3,000, and I think Tolas is 5,000. So all are pretty small, but they're all really close to big city sites. Valle is right next to Masaya, which is a huge site. It would kind of like, if you wanted to compare it to an American city, you could have, they have Granada and Leon, which are kind of like New York and LA. Both are these big giant cities, but then you have, like, in the middle you have Chicago, which is kind of like the American city. That's how they think of Masaya, as the Nicaraguan city. Tolas and Ometepe. Ometepe is a tourist destination in and of itself, but the site itself it's kind of like a figure 8 shaped island with 2 volcanoes, and the site is kind of in the middle, in between the two major tourist sites. It's actually kind of a supposedly it's a really neglected area. It's not a whole lot of action going on there, when really the whole island could be amazing. So that's a big tourist destination. It's about an hour boat ride from Rivas, which is, in and of itself, it's not really a big tourist destination. It's like about a city of 40,000 people, but it's kind of on the road to Costa Rica. It's the port to get to Ometepe. It's on the road to get to San Juan del Sur, which is this beautiful beach that I have yet to see, but I will make a commitment of it to go visit that place. Tolas is on the road from. It's actually like right there in between Tolas. Tolas is right there in between San Juan del Sur, the beach, and Rivas, which is the port to get to Ometepe. So I could get from the Pacific all the way to the Lake Nicaragua, and at some point, maybe on down the line, could hop on a boat and go all the way down Rio de San Juan, all the way to the Atlantic. So Nicaragua is already built to be the next Panama Canal, if you ask me. We'll see what shakes loose. So, had my interview with them. They said Valle de la Laguna is a big possibility to send me. So is Ometepe. Tolas is looking like it may not be a site this year, but definitely for next year. But it could still be a site this year. They don't know yet, and yeah. So we'll see what shakes loose there. They said that if they send anyone there, that they are looking for a really energetic teacher, which they said that I was the most that they had seen in a while, or along those lines. Let's see. Oh, and the other site that they wanted to ask me about was a site called Muelle de los Bueyes in Ross. Muelle de los Bueyes is kind of on the border of where the Atlantic side of Nicaragua meets the Pacific side of Nicaragua. So it's definitely kind of a cultural hub. They're still speaking mostly in Spanish there, but as you get closer and closer to the Atlantic, the more and more Creole you're going to start hearing. It's Creole. If you don't know what it is, it's kind of not a dialect. It is a separate language all in of its own that bears a lot in common with English, but also has a lot of French and African influences in it. So that if you ask me what somebody just said and they're speaking in Creole, I couldn't tell you. It sounds like Big Latin to me. So that was pretty cool. Other significant event that happened today, we visited Volcan Masaya in Masaya. It is supposedly this. It is this like the most active volcano in Nicaragua, according to my Lonely Planet guide, and also according to that guide, apparently it blew its top in 2001 and sent boulders flying as far as the visitor center, which is I think somewhere between 3 and 5 clicks away. It even managed to actually bullseye a few cars on the road. Luckily, no one was hurt. So it's a pretty active volcano. It wasn't really the experience that I was hoping for. I was told that we were going to be climbing the volcano, climbing the mountain. That's what I was getting ready for. I was all geared up, and we just kind of drove in the van all the way up to the crater, which is kind of cool that you could do that. I mean, I've never even heard of something like that where you could park your car literally on the edge of this volcano. But it did feel like there was kind of a commercialized feeling to it, that this great mountain has kind of been tamed almost. It was, and just kind of turned into a tourist attraction, especially when there were so many gringos there. I mean, and they weren't just American gringos. There was I was hearing French and German being spoken and things like that. So this is from everywhere. People were coming around, which was cool. That it's that attractive. Kind of weird that the Nicaraguans aren't coming. That wouldn't be the case in the States. The States are, I mean, the Grand Canyon. I mean, this is basically their equivalent of something like the Grand Canyon or the Hoover Dam or something like that. I mean, the Americans go there all the time just to tour their own cultural history. I remember reading in the hotel information packets that more than, I think, somewhere between 50 and 60% of their patronage comes from foreigners, extranjeros, with another, I think they said 20 something percent, I think 28% was actual Nicaraguan residents, and then the remaining were volunteers, students studying abroad, which they count as separate from the regular tourist extranjeros, someone that's actually going to be living in Nicaragua. And I think also includes a few Nicaraguans that are visiting for school purposes and things like that. So, yeah, it was did throw me for a little bit of a loop to see that kind of imbalance. But the volcano itself is pretty awesome. It's a massive crater in the ground, sulfur gases pouring out of it, and you're not supposed to stay there for longer than 20 minutes, really. And I think we pushed it a little bit because I'm not feeling that well. And this is a little bandana with kind of herbal remedies that my host mother hooked me up with to try and help me rest. I've been wearing it for the past hour or so, and I feel fantastic now. Alright, running out of time. I'm gonna end it now, and I'll see you guys next time with hopefully some more cool stories. Bye.